Everyone has their own entertainment in life. I love an active lifestyle. I always like getting new doses of adrenaline. I have tried a lot of things in my life. These are skydiving, skiing down steep slopes, bungee jumping from a bridge, and much more. My life was very bright, filled with a variety of impressions. I myself tried to connect my work with my lifestyle. Initially, I worked as a skydiving instructor and sold some sports equipment. After a while, I would already have my own small business. It all started with one small shop which had only quality goods. I was well versed in this matter and understood very clearly that the life of my clients directly depends on the quality of these products. And my business gradually developed, bringing in more and more money. But my life, saturated with all the colors of the rainbow, was deprived of the main thing, family warmth and comfort. I practically did not appear at home. I was always either at work or receiving new doses of adrenaline. But one day a very interesting thing happened. A couple of my friends wanted to get married, and to make it memorable, they decided to descend directly on parachutes to their exit ceremony. I undertook to help them in this matter. I instructed the guys in detail and prepared them since they themselves were newbies in this business and were very worried. I arranged the perfect wedding gift for them. They will remember this flight for the rest of their lives. At this event, I met Meredith, a pretty brunette who won my heart. Meredith and I have been married for over 15 years. There was no room for boredom in our lives. She, of course, did not much share my extreme forms of entertainment, but she liked to travel with me around the world. Quite often we were in the mountains. Skiing down a steep slope was one of my favorite pastimes. "Meredith, my love, are we going to the mountains next week?" I asked my wife. "Yes, Stephen, I love the fresh air." Meredith answered, "That's good. I will prepare everything necessary for our trip. You know how long and how much I wanted to go to this place." "Yes, dear, I hope you get exactly what you wanted there. I never rented equipment. I always brought only my own, tested." Despite my extreme entertainment, I paid a lot of attention to safety. This time we ended up in a beautiful resort with very steep mountains. This time I tried to conquer one of the steepest routes. My experience allowed me to go down an incredibly difficult route. The mountain seemed to challenge me, and I gladly accepted it. "Meredith, you're kind of silent today. Something happened." "No, Stephen. Everything is in order. Probably just did not get enough sleep." "Well, you look at what beauty is around. There is no time for sleep. There is still so much time to try," I said with admiration. "Stephen, I understand you very well, but today I'll probably stay at the hotel. I am weak and tired. Maybe I got sick. Damn it." "Dear, but today I will conquer this difficult route. How am I going to do this without my favorite fan? I thought you would fly with me in a helicopter and cheer me up before this descent." "Honey, I would love to, but come on yourself today. I believe in you. You will definitely succeed." "Okay, darling, then wait for me at home with a victory." "Definitely, dear. Be careful." "Okay, bunny." It was a wonderful morning. The sun shone brightly, setting fire to the snowy peaks, blinding with their whiteness. We were approaching by helicopter the slope that I had to conquer. "The weather is good today," said Bradley, the pilot of the helicopter that brought me here. "Yes, Bradley. This is incredible beauty. It will be a wonderful trip." "Yes, Stephen, you will definitely not forget this descent," Bradley said with a smile. "I'm sure it will. So, Stephen, look. Here's a search beacon. Let us know where you are. If something goes wrong, then you press this button, give a distress signal, and we will find you." "Understood, Bradley. Thank you very much. Hope it doesn't come in handy." "Of course, not useful, Stephen. You're a professional. I admire you, but let it be with you." "All right, Bradley, go back. I'll start going down." "All right, Stephen, good luck to you." Bradley flew away in a helicopter. I was left alone on a snowy peak. It was an impressive mystery. The slope was quite steep, but I was completely sure that I could handle it. I put on my skis, got ready, and started down the slope. It was just incredible. I skillfully went around rocks and cliffs. But then something went wrong. My ski binding broke, and I fell, began to roll down a steep slope. I don't know how I survived and how long I rolled down this slope. I hit my head hard and lost consciousness. When I woke up, I was afraid to move. I understood that I should not have survived such a fall. I began to slowly pinch myself. It looked like a couple of ribs were broken, but the rest of the bones were intact. When I passed out, my body went limp. Perhaps because of this, I did not break the spine and other limbs. There was a wild noise in my head. I hit hard. But still there was not much blood, just not a big cut on the head. But there were all signs of concussion. When I came to my senses a little, I tried to understand where I was. This place was far from civilization. There were no houses and people nearby. It inspired some despair, but I was prepared for such situations and I knew how to survive. I saw fragments of my skis near me. I took a closer look at the ski binding and noticed that it had been taken out of position in advance. Someone deliberately damaged the mount in such a way that I did not notice. But who needed it? I did not understand. But now it was not important. Now my task was to survive in this cold, deserted place. I was wearing a good tracksuit and a jacket that kept warm well. But that wasn't enough. I needed to find a place where I could rest and warm up a bit. Walking across these snow-covered plains was unrealistic. There was a thick layer of snow here, and I just fell through. From broken skis, I built a kind of snowshoes. This helped me stay on the surface of the snow. And I went to look for my temporary home. Soon I was lucky to find a small cave. I had matches with me, so I didn't have to make fire by rubbing dry sticks. Finally, I built a fire and began to warm myself. I had little water and supplies, because I did not intend to stay here for a long time. I took out a small iron mug and melted the snow in it to get a good drink. My body ached. I felt that I was all covered in abrasions and bruises. It was hard to breathe because of broken ribs. I had an elastic bandage tucked away with which I wrapped my torso as tight as possible. I took out the beacon that Bradley gave me, but it was not working. I opened the panel and saw that there was not even a power source. It dawned on me that this was all planned. They definitely wanted to kill me and hide everything as an accident. My only hope was to get to the place where I was to be picked up. According to the navigator, it was still a couple of dozen miles from me. But to overcome such a distance in the cold, without skis, and in my condition was very difficult. I decided to go on the road the next day, as it was already getting dark and I had too little strength. I found a small hill without snow where dry grass was growing. From this hay I built myself a place to sleep for the night. The next morning, with the first rays of the sun, I set off. My body ached terribly. It was very hard for me to walk, but I did not retreat from my goal. I walked for a long time, and now I finally reached the place where the place of my evacuation should have been. But there was nothing here. No one was waiting for me here, and there was no base here. It was a wild, deserted place. I was at an impasse, my strength buoyed by the hope and purpose of getting here. And now I was seized with despair. I did not know what to do next. My strength was already running out. I just fell helplessly into the snow. I couldn't sleep, but the drowsiness forced me to close my eyes with great force. And now, in a semi-conscious state, I heard the barking of dogs. I really didn't understand whether it seemed to me or whether it was not dogs, but a pack of wolves in any case. I no longer had the strength to resist, and I passed out. When I opened my eyes again, I was frightened and wanted to stand up abruptly, but I couldn't. My body was very weak. "Hush, man, hush." Some guy told me in front of me. "Where I am?" I asked him. "In my house." "You are very lucky. I don't go to this area often. But this time I was riding a sleigh with dogs in harness and noticed you. To be honest, I was surprised you were still alive. So consider yourself lucky, and it's your second birthday. What is your name? My name is Stephen. Thank you very much for saving my life. What is your name? My name is David. So how did you get into this situation? David, I decided to take a ride, but everything clearly did not go according to plan. Yes, I noticed. I saw your transmitter. Whoever gave it to you obviously didn't want you to survive. I know, David, but I don't understand why it was necessary. Well, I can only give you one piece of advice. Be careful with the people closest to you. Believe me, it could be one of them. Thanks for the advice, David. I stayed with David for a few days and decided to return home. I returned secretly and was in no hurry to show up. I slowly approached my house. The window was open. I was passing by. I already wanted to go home and make Meredith happy. This is the only person I did not doubt. But suddenly I heard Meredith answering someone's phone. Hello? Yes, my dear. What? Yes, I'm collecting Stephen's things. Yes, my beloved, of course I will come, Meredith answered. It just shocked me. Cold sweat broke out on my forehead. To whom did she speak so sweetly? I changed my mind about going home and decided to follow Meredith. I had a terrible sense of betrayal. I got back in my car and started to wait. Soon Meredith left the house and got into her car. I followed her. We drove up to a private house. Meredith went inside. I crept up to the house and looked around. There was another entrance in the backyard. The door was not locked, and I carefully entered the house. Suddenly I heard voices in one of the rooms. My instinct told me to get my phone and film everything that was happening. I carefully crept up to the door and slipped the phone into the crack of the half-open door. Bradley, I still can't calm down. What if he survives? What if they suspect us of something? Will they find him? Meredith, don't worry. Everything was set up perfectly. I broke his ski binding. It would not have survived the descent from such a steep mountain. The beacon is also not working. He simply had no chance to get out of there alive. And this is confirmation that he still has not returned, and no one has found him. So much time to stay in this frost among the wild. It is simply unrealistic to survive even for a trained person. You should have seen that slope. Yes, he twisted his neck there and is already lying under a ton of snow. No one will definitely find him there. It was an accident. We planned this case for many months so that no one would suspect. So do not worry. Soon you will officially be a widow and receive all of Stephen's property, and his corpse will remain lying in the snow. It's good that it was so. I'm already waiting for when, finally, I will own all his estate. Perhaps only after that I can calm down, Meredith replied anxiously. I still know a good way to help you. Come to me, my fish, Bradley said excitedly as he pulled Meredith's underwear off. Then I could not stand it and burst into the room. So I won't survive, right? Yes, fuck you, bitches. I am more alive than all the living, I shouted, grabbed Bradley and threw him against the wall from which he lost consciousness. Stephen, are you alive? Stephen, calm down. You got it all wrong, Meredith screamed. Shut your lying mouth. I yelled and gave Meredith a good punch, which knocked her out too. The plan of my revenge came to me unexpectedly and instantly. Wasting no time, I drove the car to the backyard and quickly loaded these creatures inside the car. Then I went to the airfield where I had a small private plane. When they woke up, we were already in the air. Well, the creatures, I see, woke up. I asked with a crazy face. Stephen, what are you thinking? Meredith screamed hysterically. Stephen, calm down, please. Let's solve this issue in a calm atmosphere. Let's talk. I frightened Bradley. No, Nits. I heard you talking and I know what you lying bastards were up to. No talking. Pleasant flight, I shouted, fixing the steering wheel and opening the aircraft hatch. I threw those bastards off the plane at high altitude. They screamed in despair, realizing that they would break. Those seconds as they flew in free fall seemed to them a terrifying eternity of desperation. But I was not going to kill them, although I really wanted to. In their panic, they did not see that I had strapped them to their parachutes. These parachutes did not have rings that had to be pulled in order for the parachute to open. There were automatic parachute opening devices. And after a while, I saw the parachutes open. When those bastards landed, they were glad to be alive, of course, but the police were already waiting for them. I called a good friend of mine who had connections with the police. So the guys quickly drove up to arrest these bastards. I handed over the filmed video of their frank conversation. So now sit these bastards behind bars for a very long time. I tried to get back to my normal life. New victories in my extreme hobbies helped start life from scratch, but I was no longer in a hurry to let someone into my life.